You all have a smartphone, so I'm about to show you the 35 greatest tricks ever to be able to make the most out of it. And don't worry, I'm not about to tell you to squeeze toothpaste all over your screen to repair it. These are the absolute top tier real life hacks that I actually use, from the time saving to the life changing. Okay, if you ever listen to music or TV shows before bed, then use a sleep timer. You can do this on any smartphone, but just to show you, on an iPhone, you open the clock, you enter the timer section, and then you use the When Timer Ends menu to select Stop Playing. It'll just mean that you can have the music on while you can still hear it, but then as soon as you drift off to sleep and you no longer need the sound on, you can just have a better quality sleep in silence. And on that note, I've also found that if you are going to watch something just before bed, then a much more comfortable way of doing it is to have your smartphone on an arm. It means that, well, for starters, you don't have to use your own arm, and so you can just focus on trying to get to sleep, and also it allows you to keep your neck at a less weird angle, which is just less strenuous. So combine this with the sleep timer that we just talked about, and you can have a much more worry-free bedtime experience. When you're registering your fingerprint to be able to unlock your phone, instead of registering it once like your phone asks you to, do it twice. And on that second time, make sure that you're getting every single nook and cranny of your finger. Your phone will detect these as two separate fingerprints, meaning that when you're trying to next get into your phone, it'll be much more likely to match your current print against at least one of those two saved prints. If you have a whole load of cables for all your various different gadgets, then you can use cable ties to link them all together, organizer clips to keep the ends uniform and consistent, and then a cable box to store all the big bulky wiring that's trailing across your floor. You can very quickly go from something like this to something like this. And if you want to take this to the next level, then you can also swap out all of your various different power bricks, which might be 5 watt or 10 watt or maybe even 20 watt chargers, for just one high-end 100 watt plus charger that can take care of everything. Okay, time for a camera lightning round, 5 of my absolute favorite tricks for photos. The first one being burst mode. Your phone has it, use it. On an iPhone, you hold down the shutter button and then drag it to the left. On a Samsung, you just hold the volume down button and off it goes. The point is, if you're ever about to experience something that cannot be repeated, then capturing 20 photos a second is a pretty good way of making sure you don't miss it. If you're trying to capture a screenshot of an entire page, then instead of taking 50 separate screenshots and just scrolling down a little bit each time, just take one screenshot and select full page capture to take the entire web page in one go. You can do a similar thing on Samsungs too, by just clicking this downward arrow after capturing. Now, if you're a bit of a tinkerer, then it's also worth playing around with the Shortcuts or the Routines app, depending on which phone you have. It basically allows you to give custom commands to your phone, which can make it react to any input you give it. So just for example, I've got a little command here, which means that every time I say the word snap, my iPhone, without even needing to open up the camera app, can snap a silent photo and immediately save it to the recents folder. If you ever see someone that looks just really trendy and you decide that you want to recreate their outfit, then all you need to do is to head to the Google app, open up Google Lens, and just take a photo of it. This feature did start off pretty rough, but I think you'd be surprised at how capable it's now become. It is far easier than trying to describe what you're seeing in written language. And then the single most important trick for your camera is to turn grid lines on and then use those grid lines to execute the rule of 2/3. It's actually very simple. When you turn these grid lines on, it'll always create 4 lines across your screen, 2 going down, 2 going across. And this will lead you to 4 PowerPoints. Okay, not that kind of PowerPoint. 4 points within your frame in which it's a good idea to position your point of interest. These are the points for which your subject will still look aesthetically pleasing, but just not as static and as lifeless as if you always keep everything in the middle all the time. So let's just say I'm taking a photo of Simba, then instead of me winging it and just aimlessly taking photo after photo and seeing which one turns out right, if I position his eye, which I've decided is going to be the focal point of the image, within that top right PowerPoint, check how much nicer it turns out. Okay, moving on from photos then. Let's be honest, we all use our phones in the bathroom. But if you want the absolute best solution to watching TV shows while having a shower, then a shower cage might well be the way to go. I have one installed in my bathroom, and it basically means that you can have your phone at the perfect height, you can keep it dry as the cage is waterproof, and you can even rotate it 90 degrees to consume different types of content. I will say that trying to use the touchscreen while the cage is wet is a bit hit or miss, but if you set up the right voice commands, you will never need to. So, you know how on YouTube there's this watch later feature? For when you want to make sure that you don't miss something that looks really juicy, but also when you don't quite have the time or energy to watch it right away. Well, if you use the app Pocket, then it can act as your watch later or read later list, but across every single one of your applications. Any article you find or web page you come across, you just share it to Pocket, and this app will keep an offline version of that article without any ads in a